Y'all, we are back up in this thing with the fifth episode of season one of Delilah. And child, they are not slowing down on the messiness. Let's talk about it. I need Delilah and Tamara to get it together. They either need to separate until the end of this case, or they need to figure out how to compartmentalize and be friends because this back and forth is driving me crazy. And now I want to throw hands. We start the episode off in Leah Davis's apartment. We pick up right where episode 4 left off, where Leah had walked in on an actual break-in. Someone breaks in and steals her laptop and her phone, the two items in which Osborne was requisitioning from her to begin with. And it just so happens that at the time, Leah had just called Tamara back, because we also saw in episode 4 that Tamara had reached out, and now we realized that Leah had actually followed back up with her. And basically, Delilah thinks that Tamara had something to do with Leah being out of the house so that the break-in could happen, because it was very coincidental that she was able to keep her out of the house for about an hour while the break-in was happening. And honestly, I feel like it's not too far to leap in reference to Delilah making that jump, even though Tamara delivers a very well-to-do, it ain't my style speech. And sis, I want to believe you, but child, these things are getting way too coincidental way too often. I'm gonna need you to either drop this client or check this client, because the way they moving is real dangerous, honey, real dangerous. And when I said in the beginning of like, I need them to figure this out and figure out how to compartmentalize this now, Tamara's planning her wedding, and before they finish their little first argument of the episode, she reminds her like, are we still having lunch to talk about my dang on wedding, sis, on Monday, because you're my matron of honor unless you're not. Child. And of course Delilah's going to show up for her friend. She's going to be there for her friend. But every single time something happens, you think that your girl is doing something shady, something illegal, or something compromising in this case. How are you actually going to support her on one of the biggest days of her life when you don't even like her right now? Like, make it make sense. And child, while we going down the list of messiness, we get to see Nate trying to make an attempt with Candace. And I'm going to need him to just go ahead and give it up. We're going to have to get a divorce, because what we've been waiting for, we finally get revealed. Candace is cheating on Nate with their so-called friend, Big Swole Dude, who tried to press up on Delilah when Delilah went to go check Candace. And what I don't understand, and I said this in my episode 4 recap, why is Candace still playing along? She agrees to meet up with Nate the next day and have dinner, but it's like, girl, you agreed to have dinner with your husband while you in bed with y'all's friend. Where they do that at? I'll wait. Ooh, child, the ghetto. Child, we already at Tamara and Delilah fight number 2 by the middle of the episode. Delilah wants to know if she actually followed up with her clients, and this is the part that gets me about Tamara. It's like she be kind of telling the whole truth. Like, she tells like 97% of the truth and always keeps that 3 to 5% in her back pocket. So it's like, sis, we can't really root for you because you're lying. If you're kind of lying, you're still lying. They ultimately fall out over this lunch that they have to discuss the wedding, and we get a little bit of insight into what Delilah actually thinks about Tamara and the story that Tamara tells about how she secured her wedding venue for over Easter weekend. And it's like she's a person who's going to use all the resources that she has at her disposal to get the things that she wants, and that directly conflicts with who Delilah is. Delilah is a very stand up, sacrifice yourself, do what's right at all times, highly integrous and professional person. So it sucks, but clearly these two best friends definitely conflict in that way, and we definitely get to see that. What I do like about their friendship that we see is that they have this rule where they don't go to bed angry. So when Tamara is storming out of the restaurant, kind of pissed off. She tells her, hey, you got until midnight tonight. You already know the deal to take back the hurtful thing that you said. And basically, she feels offended because Delilah tells her, you didn't speak to you didn't speak to Win Sr., who is the owner of her law firm. She only spoke to Win Jr. And that's actually the truth, but she doesn't want to admit it for whatever reason. And that's the part where I'm just like, damn, Tamara, I was trying to be on your side, sis, but she's right. And she knows that she's right. You know that she's right. So you storming out right now, girl. It ain't finna do nothing. And it's interesting to see Delilah's dad is handling the case of Greg Shea's murder. So we've seen them interact a little bit differently in this episode. Delilah's a little less hostile. And I'm still on the fence about Daddy-O. Like he gives me creep vibes too. He gives me something ain't right here vibes too. But hopefully he's gonna come through in reference to this case, because if I remind y'all, this case could have something to do with why Nate is actually in a wheelchair. And we get to see Dion in this episode. I'm so excited when I see his little face. He's just the sweetest little kid ever. And we see him leading up to the conversation that Delilah X has with her. He needs to come and talk to her about moving his little girlfriend in, who ultimately was his former student. Child, this man, he just screams midlife crisis. I need some validation and maybe some Viagra. I can't. Like, I just can't. Child, this whole date scene with Nate, all right, y'all gonna have to give me this one. It's Candy Corn showing up with an attitude for me. I definitely call her Candace early in this video, but that's because she don't deserve for anybody to know her real name. Yes, her name is Christine. I call her Candace, but I'm about to start calling her Candy Corn because sis, you whack. You wiggity wiggity whack. She literally showed up to break Nate's heart. Girl, like, what is your purpose here, sis? She shows up with an attitude. They have this little like super emotional moment about Niagara Falls. Nate basically pours his heart out and says he wants to try to make this work. And here you go. I guess we need to be thankful that you actually broke the news, or I guess we need to be grateful that you're actually done playing this game when you could have been done, back in episode 1. You could have been done when you left your son. You could have been done when Delilah showed up at your door G-checking you. Girl, it's the triflingness for me. It's the just raggedy can't get right, don't want to be right, ain't never going to be right for me. Let me stop talking about this because now I'm getting angry. And while we taking out the trash in reference to trash exes, Gordon, step on up, sir. It is your turn. It is your turn to get in this plastic bag and jump in this trash can. Raggedy. You're giving raggedy. You come over to talk to Delilah about wanting to move in your student girlfriend. Okay, she's not your student anymore, but she was your student when you decided to sleep with her and break up y'all's family. And you just think she's supposed to be cool with it? You making a stand for your happiness and your peace, sir? You don't want that girl. You never did want that girl. You don't want to be alone. I cannot, y'all, with immature, irresponsible, non-accountable, lack of self-reflection ass men. I can't. I can't. There's the door, sir. There's the door. Y'all, they almost got me with that ending. I thought that we were going to be ending on that down note where Tamara basically comes clean, but then also makes it plain to Delilah. And in this case, I'm definitely back on Tamara's side in reference to what she said. At the end of the day, they need to stop going back and forth about this case. It's compromising their friendship. It's compromising their sisterhood. And point blank period, Tamara said, if you got a case to make the case, sis. Let that be that. I'm going to make my case, you make your case. That's how this whole thing works. And it just sucks that they know each other so well, because in the real world, that's what would be happening. There would not be the calls back and forth, the questioning of the other side. There were quite a bit of liberties that Tamara allowed Delilah to take just off the strength of that's my homegirl. And after their conversation, they decided to take a beat back. They're going to take a month off from each other to get through this actual case, and then after it they can get back to being friends. But I don't know, know. The way that the conversation went, y'all, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make it back after taking a month off. Hell, they can't even make it a whole day without actually speaking to one another. It eats both of them up, as we saw in this episode. And to make matters worse, Delilah's dad does not come through. He's doing some shady mess with the files that she gave, and before she can actually read him the riot act, the police storm in and arrest her for tampering with evidence. So now, Tamara, what you finna do? They done arrested your homegirl on some BS. You still riding for Osborne like you are? Well, y'all, that is my episode 5 from season 1 of Delilah Breakdown. Now it is your turn. Tell me in the comment section down below, what did you think of tonight's episode? What do you think is going to happen next? Do you think that Tamara and Delilah's friendship is going to be able to survive it? Are we getting Delilah out of jail next episode? There is so much drama and tea to talk about, and I want to talk about all of it with you in the comment section. If you're new here, I'm Erica Vane, and I post new videos every day. I am covering the hottest television shows on TV, some of your favorite movies, as well as entertainment news. So you might as well go ahead and join the tribe and hit subscribe. You are going to love it here. I have my Delilah playlist right here for you to check out, as well as 2 other series that I'm suggesting that you look into if you are not up on them yet. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.